Alright, this one is, am I the asshole for defending myself with my sister after taking legal custody of my nephew? No? No? I'm gonna say no. My husband, 30 male, and I, 30 female, won legal custody of my nephew Keon, 15 male, in June. Since September 2022 has been living with us on and off. It started out with the intent to be temporary, but my sister would take Keon back and then send him to live with us again. She'd visit him frequently at times and then go weeks without any contact. She'd vent to me about it, then she'd complain that we weren't fulfilling our end of the agreement. Keon wanted to stay with me, my husband, and our children. We knew it wasn't good for to have to go back and forth inconsistently. We knew he wanted to be with us, so we asked the courts to give us legal custody instead of having a family agreement going on. Even during court proceedings, my sister would take Keon back and then send him to us again. A therapist was involved, someone from CPS, and they ultimately decided my husband and I should have custody. Oof. To explain background, is my sister's oldest child. She had him with her late husband, Sean. Sean died when he was 5. Aww. When Kian was 7, my sister met her second husband, and she married him about 18 months after they first met. Whoa. She now has more children with her second husband. Kian was distant with them from the start. He was civil to my sister's husband, but also expressed that he didn't want his mom to get married again. My sister chose to ignore that at the time and convinced herself that Kian would come around and would love having a dad in the house again. He was disinterested in his younger half siblings from the start, and it was only when my sister read some homework Kian had done and had answered the question with, "I don't have siblings." Oh no. She started to take it seriously. My sister decided they needed family therapy. Kian was open, but he didn't have any feelings for his half siblings or stepdad. He hated spending time with them and wished it could be just him and his parents again. Aww. They had some homework to do. Keon's honesty during the homework that he would never treasure memories with his half siblings was when my sister first asked us to take him in. She wanted him to work on that. She hoped distance would make him realize he did care or would make him more willing to try, but it didn't. It hasn't. He likes not seeing them. He likes seeing my sister, misses her, and gets upset when he doesn't, but he has never once missed his stepdad or half siblings. My sister is furious we went for legal custody, and even more furious that we won. She asked how I could do that, and I told her we had spoken about the upheaval not being good for everyone. But she was still back and forth with Kian. I told her I had to put him first when she was making his life so unstable. She asked how I could defend myself, and I made sure Kian couldn't reconcile with them now. I made sure. What? I told her she could still see him, the judge even said it, and she could always work on committing to him. She said I was punishing her as much as Kian is, and she'll never forgive me for it. Am I the asshole? Those poor little half siblings, too. I think it was good that OP wanted to offer more stable, housing and everything. That's good. I don't know. It does get a little tricky, especially when you bring courts into it. I'm not laughing because it's funny though. I swear. I don't know. I don't know. It just feels like the kid's best interest was at heart, and I don't know. The mom's not liking, but also it's gonna be kind of hard to try to change your child's mind. But I mean, he just misses his old family. I don't think he was able to properly unload that. OP has offered the following explanation for why they think they might be the asshole. I sought legal custody of my nephew and won despite my sister seeing her son and wanting him to live with her and her family. This might have been shitty on my part because she is his mother and she was still working in therapy and seeing him, mostly, and I simply made it harder for her to get custody again. I strongly believe this was the right thing, and yet might also make me the asshole because I wasn't able to work it out between the two of us as sisters. Doesn't like his siblings. He prefers hanging out at OP's house and with their family. And OP ended up taking it to court, and they were able to get the okay. But I do think it might have been a little rushed. I don't know, but yeah, it is true that it'll be harder for the child to have custody, but also it's going to be up to the child. They're 15 too, and I don't know. I feel bad for the kids though, all the kids. I'm gonna say not the asshole. Well, I don't know. It just really does suck though. Am I the asshole for telling my wife to drop an issue that her daughter is having at school? I'm gonna say no, but I know helicopter parents are a thing. So it could be one of those two things, but it might be an important issue. So I'm gonna say no. My wife, 36 female, and I, 35 male, have 2 kids, 10 female, 8 male. We live in a school district that has already started school, and our kids have been in classes for about 2 to 3 weeks now. Our daughter has been having an issue with her lunch being stolen a few times a week. The school offers breakfast and lunch, but it isn't free. We always put money in accounts for the kids in case they want to eat school lunch instead of what we pack for them. So our daughter doesn't go hungry even if her lunch is taken. She also doesn't have any dietary restrictions. Her food is being taken! My wife works night shift as a nurse, so I am the one getting the kids up and ready for school in the morning, including packing lunches. And yes, I put their names on everything. My daughter has told me every time that her lunch was taken. The first few times I asked her just to eat school lunch, but she doesn't always like what they offer. So I started making 2 lunches for her and told her to hide one in her backpack instead of bringing it into the classroom where the other lunches are. I mean, okay, what I was thinking of, like, maybe it was another kid, like, who just needed a lunch and they were just, like, helping out. But if the kid's lunch is getting taken, like, this feels like bullying.
Fuck, this is the teacher.
Not the teacher. Who's just feeding them? What's giving bullying? To hide your lunch? What do you mean? I've also talked to her teacher about it, and she said she would be more vigilant about the lunches, but that hasn't stopped them from being stolen. My daughter is not the only one having this issue. What? My wife is up in arms about it and wants to bring it up to the principal, superintendent, school board, etc. She thinks that whoever is stealing from our daughter is a thief and has some kind of grudge against her daughter. I, however, have a different view on it. Here, I got you a lunch, so after your bully takes that first one, what do you mean? I don't know. The way I see it, whoever's taken lunches probably needs the food more than my daughter does. If their family had means of providing packed lunches, I would assume they would do so. Same goes for putting money in an account for school lunch. My feeling is that whichever kid is stealing lunches is hungry, and I don't want to compound that by making this a bigger issue. The teacher's already aware, and I don't feel we need to elevate this beyond that. Our family is not in dire straits financially. We do just fine, but I know that this isn't the case for everyone. And if packing 2 lunches for my daughter means that a hungry kid gets a solid meal, I'm okay with it coming out of our pockets. I can understand that only if, like, they're not being rude. My wife and I got into an argument about this because she wants to send an email to anyone and everyone at the school district, and she feels needs to know about this. I told her that we should wait and see if the teacher can figure out who the kid is, and we can handle this without bringing the whole school district down on this kid and their family. Yeah, I mean, going to the superintendent and everybody is kind of a little too much. It's like 0 over 100 here. My wife wants to set up meetings with the teacher and principal, but I told her she would need to be the one attending them because I won't. And since she usually sleeps during the day when the kids are in school, and she didn't like that. She thinks I'm being an asshole by not protecting our daughter, but our daughter is not going hungry, and whoever is taking her lunches isn't either, which I'm okay with. Find out what the bully is allergic to and make lunch with that in it. That's, a lot worse, I feel like. I think OP is giving too much benefit of the doubt, but also, like, the wife is being extra as fuck. Yeah, it's literally 0 or 100. I'm a little concerned, like, I would, I don't know, because you could try to find out who it is and you can find out, like, the story and stuff, but, like, stealing gets you in trouble, you know? And hopefully they're not, like, being bullied, but, I mean, if they're stealing the lunches, you know, who knows? And for your perspective and that of your wife, what about your daughter? Does she feel victimized, or is she on board that the lunch thief is a hungry kid and she is showing that child mercy? She's keenly aware that there are kids in her class and school that are less fortunate than we are. She sees these kids every day and she probably has a better idea than the teacher who the culprit is. But she's 10, and as long as she gets to eat lunch every day, she doesn't have a problem with it. She was upset after the first couple times, but after talking with her about it and confirming that with her that packing 2 lunches is a solid plan, she's fine. She's now looking at it as she's doing something to help someone else without the other person needing to ask or feel embarrassed. Like, real talk, what I think needs to happen is the teacher needs to figure out who it is and sit down with them and figure out why. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if the kid's okay with it, but it's giving, like, I don't know. What if the bully like, or what if the kid is a bully, and they're like, you better not say anything. But I mean, if she's okay with it, how much pressure did you put on your daughter before she was okay with it? Keep in mind that she is 10 and doesn't want daddy to be ashamed or disappointed in her. Now that she knows not to count on you to stick up for her, what happens when something else is stolen? Whoa. Maybe a sentimental gift from her grandparents or something she saved up for her allowance to buy. What happens when she gets picked on and bullied? Do you really think she will go to you for help again? What happens when someone copies her test and she thinks she has to let them go? She gets in trouble too. You're the asshole for teaching the wrong lesson. You are raising a victim. If the kid's okay with it, she's either being tormented or she knows who it is and there's someone less fortunate. Yeah. And it's like it's such a like broad aspect and everything. I'm gonna say, Dad, you need to be a little bit more concerned. I mean, I can get it. I don't know. Like, are they stealing? She did say her lunch kept getting taken and she was upset about it those first few times. That's the part where I don't know. That's what the part that gets me. Nah, gotta teach your kid to not get walked on. Yeah, yeah. Mom's being too much, dad's not doing enough. Which, that's crazy. I'm gonna say, I'm gonna say yes. I think my answer is gonna be yes. But so is mom a little bit. I don't like getting all of that involved may do a lot more harm than good. If especially if it is the benefit of the doubt and child is going through it and everything, it just going about it in that way is I don't know. But then again, I also don't have kids, so am I the asshole for sharing a list of baby names that often get misspelled with my brother? I'm confused. No? I'm confused. I'm a teacher and I have two children with my husband. When we were first expecting a baby, we talked about what we wanted our child's name, and something important to both of us is a name that was unlikely to be misspelled. Using my experience as a teacher, I compiled a list of boy and girl names that this tends to be a problem with. I also included another list of names that, while easy to spell generally, have many different spellings that are considered correct and could be annoying. Haley, Haley, Haley. The list is pretty long, but some of the names people would be like, "Oh my god, no, that's not misspelled often," but I have heard of it happening enough and it made it onto the list. My brother and sister-in-law are expecting a baby together. He wanted to avoid names that have high risk of being misspelled, so he asked me if I could make a copy of the list to share with him. Of course I said yes, and I saw no possible from sharing the list. But sister-in-law was not happy. She didn't like that I had any part of the decision. My brother told her it would be a good resource to have while they searched for names. She told him the list was way too long and it wasn't my place. He asked! They argued and eventually asked sister-in-law's sister, who is labor and delivery nurse, if she could confirm the names I wrote and can be misspelled somewhat often. She confirmed the names, said nothing I had added was wrong. She clarified, like I had, that it didn't guarantee it would happen, but it often does. Sister-in-law still didn't like it, and she asked me if I had saved the list to interfere in other people's naming of their kids. What? I said no. I kept it because my husband and I didn't know if we would have more children together. But I wouldn't deny sharing with someone else because it's not a list of names that I'm telling people to use, and I told her I'm not even saying not to use them. Just that in my experience as a teacher who speaks to kids, they get misspelled. Sister-in-law said it wasn't my place to share any list. Am I the asshole? Brother went up to her because he's like, oh yeah, no, this list of names. Why? I don't know. No, not the asshole. How is that her fault? I just see this as like, OP was just approached. She's like, yeah, of course. And then she gets the crap end of the stick from it. It was just as a helpful thing. I hope the sister doesn't end up like doing something later on to like name the child and then end up regretting the name or something. OP has offered the following explanation for why they think that might be the asshole. I shared a list of baby names that often get misspelled with my brother, who asked me for it because of my experience as a teacher. I didn't ask if my sister-in-law was okay with my brother getting the list, and I then, knowing sister-in-law didn't like it, defended myself and claimed that I didn't see the issue. So I might be the asshole for those reasons. Didn't check with her, then didn't accept she didn't like it. Plus, it's a very long list that I compiled, so might appear overly influential. I can see sister-in-law just being like, after hearing like, why'd you do that? And then it's like, I don't see the issue. It's like, I don't know. it's hard for me to understand like better. So I feel like, I guess to be fair, my opinion is that of a grain of salt, as always, though. Okay. This will be our last one for tonight. It is, am I the asshole for not letting my in-laws to kiss our child on the lips, even when my fiance is okay with it? I'm gonna say no, because I have heard horrible stories of like how sick kids can get. I, 23 female, and my fiance, 27 male, have recently had this huge argument about whether letting his parents kiss our future child or not on the lips. I'm completely against it because I always found that weird just seeing it happen to their other grandchildren. But my fiance is saying that his parents giving our child a kiss on the lips is non negotiable. I told him they can kiss the child's head or cheek to show affection, but not the lips because it makes me uncomfortable. He says I lacked love and affection from my parents because they never did that to me as a child, but his parents did that to him and his siblings growing up. So he was given more affection as a child than I. He said if I disagreed, then he would just let his parents do it without my consent, especially if I'm not present. Hearing him say that has caused me to fear having a child with him a little now because go behind my back and do it anyways. I feel like that's a red flag. And the way to come out of like go after her because you weren't loved as a kid is weird. That's fucking weird. That was out of pocket. It's just the way that he's responding to it and just like, I don't care, I'm gonna do it anyway. Like he's gonna do that a lot more often, especially if you're going to have a kid with him. No. Mm-mm. OP has offered the following explanation as to why they think they might be the asshole. I told my fiance I wouldn't have children with him if he doesn't change his mindset on letting his parents kiss our child on the lips. I feel like an asshole because I basically am giving him an ultimatum. It's the way, I don't know, it's like there is no meeting in the middle. It's do this or don't, and I'm gonna make sure it happens anyway. And I don't know, that's my gut says run, girl. But I'm also okay with accepting the fact that everybody's different. If you can't accept something a little different, like well, then again, yeah, the feeling of insulted is not good. I feel like there are real concerns about like that not being a thing, but they didn't post like that as one of their concerns. They just did see it as weird. But I don't know. I'm really raising an eyebrow on how his response was to it. Like to say that you were loved as a kid, that's. But I don't know. That would start a whole fight after that, personally. I mean, it is an important conversation to have with your partner. I just what makes like one of the things. Sorry, I'm gonna stop this one. One of the things that I just don't like is the fact that like, what if he doesn't stop there for something he doesn't end up agreeing with her on that, you know? But I would be insulted. Yeah, that's true. That's true. I didn't really think of it too much in that way before. But I mean, it is a really good point. Damn. Anyway, that was our last one. Yay!